Hello, my name is Julia Onel and I'm a naturalist at Walter B. Jacobs Memorial Nature Park, which is one of Caddo Parish parks. Today I'm going to talk about bats. Many people have misconceptions about bats. They're found spooky, scary, but people don't realize their importance in our lives. From pollinating our favorite fruits to medical marvels, they are the hero of the night. Out of 14,000 species all over the world, we have 45 in the United States and 11 in Louisiana. Bats are called Chiroptera. There's a reason for that. Chiroptera means hand wing. In fact, bats fly with true wings, and their wings are made up of elongated fingers which have a membrane in between. They flop their wings just like birds. This is the arm here. There's a thumb here, and these are elongated fingers and the membrane in between. You can see the skeleton of a bat here. You can see the elongated fingers and the thumb. Bats are, of course, not birds. They are mammals, and their body is covered with fur, and they feed their babies milk. This is an insectivore. The ones that we have in Louisiana are insectivores. They have long tail, and you can see the membrane from the legs to the tail. They can curl up this tail as they fly into a swarming insect group, and use their tail and the membrane as a scoop. Bat babies are born very large. The bat babies are, in fact, 1/4 or 1/3 of their mother's weight when they are born. So if the mother is, let's say, if we talk in human terms, if the mother is 100 pounds, the bat baby will be 33 pounds when it is born. The reason for that is they have to grow up very fast and start fending for themselves very fast. They hang on their mom's breast in some species, and the bats are very social animals. These are bats in Indiana living in a cave. They can be in millions. And bat pups, the bat babies are called pups. Bat pups group together. There can be millions of them. The adults go out to hunt, and then when they come back, each mom can identify their own pup from their sound and scent out of millions of them together hanging out. The other interesting aspect of bats is they use echolocation to find the insects, which means they emit a very high-pitched frequency sound, and the sound hits an object and it bounces back. The interesting thing about this is they can tell the difference between the echoing sound, if it is bouncing back from a wall, from a tree, from the water, or from an insect. Bats don't like cold weather. In the winter time, some of them migrate to warmer places, but those that don't migrate hibernate in the winter time. Hibernation is not sleeping. It is something done in order to conserve energy. So when the bats hibernate in a cave, they use each other's energy. Millions of them get together, and they drop their metabolism very, very low. Their heartbeat goes from 400 times per minute to 25 times per minute, and their body temperature goes down from 100 degrees Fahrenheit to 25 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very, very low. For the last decade or so, there's a disease called white nose syndrome. I should put it like this. There's a problem with our bats here in North America today. It is called white nose syndrome, and it affects mostly the bats that cave bats that hibernate in a cave, and it spreads from cave to cave. The problem with this is it covers their nose, this white powder, and their wings, and it disturbs the bat in the winter time, and it comes out of hibernation, and there's no food around, no insects to eat. They starve to death because they burn the fat that is supposed to last all winter long in a few hours, and they starve to death because of that. But they are studying on finding cure for this. The bat cave visitors, observers are being very careful not to spread the disease, the spores from cave to cave. Some caves are closed for that reason in order to prevent the spread. Not all bats are insectivores. There are fruit bats and vampire bats. I would like to talk about the vampire bats first. Vampire bats don't suck blood from human, and out of 1400 species, there are only 3 species of vampire. And all 3 species live in South America and nowhere else on the planet. They don't suck blood. With these 2 teeth in the front, they make a little incision on a cattle or some animal, and they start lapping the blood. The blood will keep running as long as they lap, because there is something in their saliva called draculin. It's an enzyme. It's an anticoagulant. It stops the blood from clotting, so as long as it laps, the blood will keep running. When it stops lapping, the blood will coagulate. This is the enzyme that our scientists used to produce synthetically and use it for heart diseases and blood problems. To close my presentation, I would like to talk about the biggest and the smallest bats on the planet. Let's begin with the biggest one. This is called flying fox. This is golden-crowned flying fox. It is called golden crown because it has a red fur on its head and its body, and its face looks like a fox face. This is a fruit bat, and its wingspan can be up to 6 feet. And here is a nice picture that I really like. Since they are mammals, here is a fruit bat, a flying fox that's carrying its, the baby is clinging on mom. These guys hang out on trees like this. And these are the baby fruit bats in Australia in a rehabilitation center. They are orphans. You know, bats are declining. The number of these bats, the fruit bats, are declining because of the habitat loss, fires and clear cuts for agriculture, etc. These are bat burritos. Now I would like to talk about the smallest bat on the planet. It is called the bumblebee bat. It is almost as big as a thumbnail, and its home is Thailand, and it weighs less than a penny. A bat's feces is called guana, and it has been used for many purposes in our history. In the Civil War, the bat guana was used for gunpowder, and it is also used in agriculture for fertilizer. Well, I think this is all I have to say about bats in this short program. Hope to see you next time.